When we were recording the original kind of demo versions of the songs, Ben just sang all the backing parts. It was just a bunch of layers of his voice. And so he wanted to not have it be like that. And Death Cab was on the same label with Rilo Kiley at the time, Barsuk Records. And so he knew about Ginny Lewis through that and thought she might be a good choice to redo these backing vocals. And so we all met up and it worked out really well.
Jenny Lewis and I had not met when I asked her to sing on the Postal Service record, but Rilo Kiley, her old band, had signed to Barsuk Records, which was the label that Death Cab was on. And I really liked their record, Takeoffs and Landings. And I don't know exactly why I fixated on having Jenny sing on the record, but I just really liked her voice and I liked her songs a lot. And I knew she lived in LA. So I got her email from Josh Rosenfeld at Barsuk Records and just emailed her out of the blue and said, "Hey, I'm Ben. I'm in this band. I'm making a record with this guy, Jimmy. And I'm going to be in LA next month. We're recording a bunch of the record. Would you want to sing on a bunch of this stuff?" And she was like, "Yeah, totally." You know, as I said, we haven't met, don't know each other. And I flew to Burbank and she picked me up in Rilo Kiley's tour van. And we went and got Mexican food or whatever. And then we went to Jimmy's house. She dropped me at Jimmy's house and then came over later and we just started working on the record. I still to this day don't know why she said yes, outside of maybe just like we were young and just this felt like a totally acceptable thing for somebody to kind of call you out of the blue and ask to have done. I mean, there was no money. It wasn't like, hey, and we're going to pay you this amount of money. There was no money. It was just like, we're making a record. Do you want to sing on it? She's like, totally. And so I had been down in LA for a couple of weeks staying at Jimmy's house, which was, you know, in the parlance of its times, you know, kind of like a dirty flop house with like 4 or 5 dudes living in it, you know, like a post-collegiate group home situation. You know, I'd lived in those before too, so I'm not knocking it, but it's what it was. So I was just kind of crashing and on some couch or on somebody's floor, and we were just living at this house for 2 weeks while we made the record. And Jenny came over almost every day and did some vocals, and we would go get food or go see shows or go to bars or whatever. And it was a really wonderful time. And, you know, Jenny has now been one of my dearest friends for over 20 years. And it was, I think, in large part because of this bonding that we were able to do while we were making the record. And the three of us, Jimmy and Jenny and I, like got really tight during that period of time. And it became apparent that if we were going to tour this record, you know, then Jenny would 100% have to be a part of it because she was kind of making herself irreplaceable as we kind of went along.